Hey, Decathlon gamer. Welcome back to Vicky 3 1.6. It's episode number 9. Last episode, the worst thing that could happen happened, and I didn't necessarily deal with it in the best manner. I think I could have and should have swallowed pride and accepted defeat right from the off, or seen the opportunity to actually find victory, but take it humbly and simply and gone from there. And instead, well, I got greedy. And as a result, we lost one state and got humiliated. The humiliation part hurts because we just dropped from number 7 to number 8 in the world. We lost 500 prestige. It's a lot. It's a lot of prestige that we lost. We also lost, at least temporarily, the opportunity. Oh no. Oh gosh, we did get it. Okay. We are allied. We're allied with France. We did get that. And so, overall, the situation isn't all bad. The former number 1, now number 2 nation in the world is right there with us, and they still have 18,000 in their army projection. And together, we're one of the strongest pairings in the world. Austria-Hungary and Russia are certainly amongst them, but German Empire is now solo. They have lost territory as well to Austria-Hungary and Russia before it, which could very well be why they kind of picked to target us. They've already picked up a new alliance, but it's the Netherlands. The Netherlands are probably not very strong, and no, they are quite weak. That's good. Does Belgium have friends? They do have a defensive pact with Great Britain. We still have a backdoor way to be able to attack Russia, and that is a defensive pact with Egypt. Egypt is incredibly weak. This is now going to come down to what is Russia's strength. And right now, it's already significantly weaker than France, and when you combine that with us, it's not bad at all. The tricky part, though, is we're at a stage in the game where all the major powers want to get involved in any large war, and so it's really hard to get something not. I still think a Kalat-Persia second war is going to be our best path forward. However, we picked up infamy from that greed. While taking nothing, we still get the infamy. It doesn't even cut down partially when we... no, I think it did cut down partially. But we were still left with most of it for even thinking for a moment. Okay, Kalat and Afghanistan are allies. And then there's that defensive pact with Persia. So our target on that would be each of them. Kalat is easy. Afghanistan is less easy. And actually stronger than Persia. But in either way, you can definitely take those three, but you can't take that much land, especially in our current state, where we are just that little bit weaker than others. In the short term, besides trying to make the economy just grow and grow and grow as rapidly as possible, and we certainly are in a position to do something with that, the other target right now is going to be some political changes while we have the opportunity. There's a movement for no colonial affairs, and we've missed out on the timing. There's hardly any land left that is still yet to be colonized, and we're not in a position to colonize any of it. So I think we're more of a paint the map a different manner. And that might be a good one for us to get rid of, because it's going to free some things up and it's got a good chance to pass. The group that does not like it is the local governors, who cares about them, right? It's going to make others happy. Let's go ahead and knock that one out, because that's 47% chance. We have unlocked steel frame buildings, and this could and should be a massive gain in construction. At the expense of 40k, but if we have a positive balance such as that, there you go, it's still a positive balance. We need glass now. we'll start to address things, but we just jumped to 247 in construction, and you can almost instantly authorize additional construction sectors if we still have a positive balance here, especially with 18 million in gold reserves at this stage. Okay, huge increase in demand for glass and cost and steel. So short term, that's the obvious fix that needs by turning the construction sector up. Revolution, but it's only ticking in at 71, and we know who wants it. It's the local governors. They would have a fair number of states, but less than what they've had before. Are they actually finally getting weaker? In the short term, we've turned up production in glass, steel, and lead, and it's got us so much closer to a neutral balance. Of course, turning up those productions have put strains on other areas as well. And so for the first time in a long time, market's not quite balanced. We're at 40K, and we have absolutely flown to 253 construction when we were at 74 like 4 years ago. Law passed into consideration on the first go on our no colonial affairs. The revolution is coming faster, thicker, heavier, trying harder right now than the pace. But that's largely because our government has very low legitimacy right now. The minority group is who we have in charge, but they're the ones getting things done. Beyond ticking up the ones that I've already kind of put demand into, looks like engines and ammunition have great need as well. Increasing the radicalism, but pushing off the power of the local governors. We're up to a 76 on that part, so gotta watch out a little bit more. But this is probably the first time where I think that based on what states they would claim, I think we'd have a pretty good chance of stomping out that rebellion. But with only a 76, I don't see them really being a major threat to us right now. Anyway, current prestige has definitely rebounded quite a bit. It's back up by 200, and yet our rank remains number 8 for now. We are getting some nasty outcomes on this right now. Some of the worst that I've seen, possibly the worst that I've seen, where it's scaling up pretty damn quickly. We're now looking at 89 on the extremism, and it's running the risk of turning into a revolution here, but we're only at 48% in the short term. But, it's going to get there fairly quick, and it's ticking by every month or so. Meanwhile, this has taken forever. Fortunately, we're 2 for 2 and through consideration and on to ascent, and nearly back down to below 25. Here we go again. When you have a hammer, what do we have? That one's not too bad. We'll take the -2 from the armed forces, though. Okay, so that just went away, and now the presidential republic movement, which had a radicalism of 2 and a desire of 11 a couple of months ago, is suddenly critical? And is this even moving? It's not. So we made the armed forces mad with a -2. They're angry. They're properly angry now. How are they so low, though? And this is... okay. Never mind the no colonial affairs. We can move on from that. Presidential republic. So, massive movement. A lot of groups will really, really like it. And a couple groups will absolutely hate it. And this one, I don't see how you avoid a revolution. There you go. Instant. And a 106. A 106. But That is most definitely just a handful of states. And you can beat them. We're about to have our first civil war, folks. It's coming. 60 million GDP for the first time. Making some rapid gains all of a sudden. Wonder why. Already back up to 70,000, by the way. So we've already rebounded most of the way while, doubling our construction. Okay, well, the support just went up a lot. Is there even a state that would stay on our side? Okay, well, they've stopped caring about no colonial affairs for now. The presidential republic one has dropped back down, and this is at 195 critical. This may end up being one we have to back down from. This is a huge movement now, and that is a lot of states. France is a second republic, so presidential elective, with the intelligentsia and industrialists in charge. That's the kind of state that would support us changing to a presidential republic, meaning this could be a winnable war with France's help. But avoiding this war looks like it's only a matter of time. Are we even getting... No, we're not even progressing? I don't know why we're getting pauses. I'm not pausing it. Why? Okay, we're gonna have to cancel this and sit back. $227. It's happening one way or another. But we can't attempt yet for 2 years. I should have just stuck with it. Okay, we've already seen that this is our region that can definitely handle. We need to, through Thrace, Macedonia, Albania, we need to expand our military in those particular areas where right now it's not necessarily going to be oh, yay! But in 2 years. So we're at 45% right now, keeping this away from 100% when it's critical 213. It's going to easily get there, and it's doing it at 25% at a time. So knocking it down, making it take not 2 chunks, but 3 chunks of time, 4 chunks of time, is going to be the key to our survival. We're at 19, now 18 months before we can go at it again. And I'd like to go at it again because I'd rather not have the party election. Yeah, Patriotic Party, 50%. These guys down to 11. I'd rather take them on. Local governors have demands. Do they? Insurrectionary. Ah, there you go. Minus 15 political strength. Wow, it's already jumped to 70% now. We're not going to make it 18 months. But what can we do here? I don't know if it's going to do us any good whatsoever, but we're going to put the industrialists in charge now instead. I think we have to right now. Let's see what this does to knock things down. Absolutely nothing. In fact, the intelligentsia and the armed forces are now combined in the presidential republic demand, and there you go. It's gone. We have legitimacy in the government, and that has been enough to stave off the revolution. The revolution where we would want to be on the opposite side in reality, but they wouldn't have the strongest of areas. That was a tricky scenario, and we have just about staved off total disaster. Too late to join the Tunisian uprising. we would not have had French support, and the German Empire alone could easily handle us 2-for-1, so it really wouldn't have gone well anyway. We might have been able to push some laws through recently, but even the intelligentsia, the group whose laws we've been pushing through, even they hate us. We have had one negative after another event, to the point where literally only a single group likes us. The rest absolutely hate us, and it's getting tricky for the internal stability of our nation right now, as we can't even put together a legitimate government at the moment, and we might have to put on hold government reforms in the short term. So we have managed to rebound when it came to most of the prestige already. We're back up over 1,000 when we were down to 700. So the humiliation, I don't know if that's a slow expiration to get you back to where you were, or whether you have to rebuild from scratch. Whatever the case may be, getting back to 1,200 is not too far off now. British Raj is ahead of us, but they're not the ones ranked ahead of us. It's Spain. Spain is ranked ahead of us. We were only slightly ahead of them before. I thought they were already ahead of us. I don't know. Same powers that be are still here. Okay, it's back on. The demand for a presidential republic resumes, and we have not cleared our timer yet, but it's down to 6 months. So I'm all for going for it once again, and I do think we are facing that real possibility of an authentic civil war here soon enough. But for now, the intelligentsia would love us, the trade unions would love us, industrialists already like us. That gets the right group on our side, really gets the right group on our side, so it's a good thing. But the petite bourgeoisie, would they join in? I don't know. They'd be at -8 from liking us. Sunni ulema and the local governors would be the issue to watch out for. But it's already down to 4 months before we even had the first tick. So we're going to be just fine. We're going to be just fine on getting this off in time. Great Britain is going for Afghanistan. That's going to make Persia an easier target for us. Our infamy is nearly down to nothing. Great Britain is going to weaken Afghanistan significantly. So going for Kalat and then ultimately Persia won't be too challenging. They're definitely going to be weakened from that war, and we'll have a real shot at it. Down to just 8 weeks, so 2 more months. We're at 55% though, so it is going pretty quick. We got 4 weeks till the next checkpoint, but it will not reach 100%. So you can see just how strong the support is. Want that presidential republic, and they would not be leaving us with much power. Okay, it's at 85%, but we're down to the last 2 weeks. Down to the wire. Glad it halted for a while. Alright, they are placated. We have a 49% chance. We have a 50% chance to advance. It's all good on that part, but you know what's coming, and it's coming soon. And if it's anything like what we just saw, it's gonna, without a doubt, go to revolution. And this time, there won't be stopping it. We're gonna let it go to that revolution, assuming that they have a similar power base to what they had the previous time. Well, we've just about balanced out the economy now, and it looks like we just need some coal and sulfur, and looks like some more groceries. Alright, there's our 3 groups, and of course, no surprise, it's critical. In fact, it's even worse than it was last time. And they have picked up strength. They have picked up strength from last time. We're talking about 30 states. Come on, how are they so much stronger than they were the previous time? Okay, it's fluctuating the group. Still 30 states, but it has moved out of some key territories into some, well, more minor territories. We want to pull back the minor ones that I was going to create, though. The movement has flipped once again on which states are going to be involved. We're probably going to need support if we're going to succeed, and we're at 95%. And there's a chance here that it's going to go up. Well, that hurts also. And it stopped progressing. Didn't even get through the first stage. So it's happening, folks, no matter what we do now. Oh, it didn't even succeed. It went to... it just advanced. It keeps going back and forth on which states it will be. I'd rather it be these states that don't have the units versus a lot of our units are up there. Alright, it's on, folks. Ottoman Aristocratic Revolt. Every single one of the states has decided to join. All of them, 100%. So, revolution upon us. Construction is now off for a little bit. We've lost a lot of what we have, but we still have a positive balance. That's good. We have a lot of fronts to manage. That's not very good, but they are at the center, so we will encircle them. But how much is left of our army? 176. More than half. More than half. France is definitely leaning our way. What would it take to get them involved, though? Call ally? Sure. Even without them, here's how things were looking with all the units active. Slight disadvantage in Anatolia, but slight advantage here, which means those two fronts, which is majority of the forces, would hold steady, firm for a while. The only additional revolution army is here, and we have them beat head to head. We have a 100% advantage here, which means we'd push in, take, and be able to then continue on. We also have a 100% advantage here, or will in a couple of days, and be able to immediately be pushing in from the rear. So we would, before long, hold this and already be advancing here to the rear, which means they'd have to either pull from that front to stabilize, or we would just keep right on marching until we get to the main front, as long as we hold. We were going to win this war either way, but with France as our ally, incredibly likely that we've got a win. Now, there's no additional war goals, and actually all of our subjects are joining in as well. Oh, look what happened here. Tunisia no longer exists, but it is part of the French Republic now. I'm okay with that. They are our big brother now. Now, we have no construction going on while we have all of our armies mobilized, but we have maintained at least a neutral balance in the short term. France has brought armies along, so even here we have a significant advantage now, and that advantage holds in those other regions. I think one thing we could do is they have 20. We have 20. Bet you we could, yeah, the 11th French Fleet. Let's go ahead and deploy. Take on and see if France helps us out. At the very least, we're looking at neutral. Likewise, Indian Fleet, go ahead and deploy to here. And there is the French support. It's making me feel awfully weak, though. We are nowhere near the strength of those around us. We had French support there for a little bit. They've changed their mind. Moving off to another location. Gathering up. Are they going to try to push into one of these other fronts? Yeah, some of them have joined in here. It looks like they are making a move to begin pushing inland through there. So we are recovering states rather quickly. We've already got a significant advantage, and this is going to really, really put a few groups in their place for a while, which is going to then put us in the scenario that we're going to be able to not only pass the presidential republic, but it's going to drastically weaken those groups after conceding defeat. This East African front has now combined down into one, and we're on the verge of finishing that off. And meanwhile, this continues on with our small Arabian army moving on up the peninsula there. I thought the French were moving into this location, but they changed their mind. In fact, I don't even see them anywhere. Have they taken the long way around to join the main front, where we're now at a 98 here? It's only a matter of time now. This is going to be a rather easy victory, and I really think that even without France, this map is looking very similar right now. I think other than the small territorial gains here in Anatolia, I think we would be looking at the exact same thing that we're looking at right now. They want protectionism or homesteading. We'll go for the protectionism on that one. 77% chance of success. The rest all goes to advance. It goes for the advance. Really? It'd be nice if you gave me a speeded up situation, but okay. Alright, Northern Front has combined down into one where we have a very strong advantage. Meanwhile, we're closing in here. We finished off East Africa, and that's all that is left of this revolution. They are under 100 and dropping very quickly. We are facing just a little bit of resistance now, 98, 95, but they're at minus 43. It's only a matter of time now. France is pulling back their forces. They know this war is about to end. And there it is, Turkish aristocratic revolt. It's done. We've won. People lost their lives. That part hurts. Things got turned down. We're going to have to fix all of that. And we're still just trying to enact the presidential republic. It didn't happen automatically. And with that low legitimacy, well, is our legitimacy still low? It is. It's better, but it's still low. We're still at just 33. Adding the armed forces in would bring us up to 73%. Intelligentsia, no room for them right now, but that will speed things up. This should start to move much faster now. Our infamy is gone. So we're set to begin a 5 infamy play for returning the state of Kalat. That's the whole nation. They're easy. 497 power projection. They also were just involved in that war, lost with Great Britain. But Persia and Afghanistan, who is now a protectorate of Great Britain, are both still ready to jump in as defensive pact / allies. As much as Great Britain is a greater threat overall, going after Afghanistan is not my focus here. Get the rest of Persia later. Actually, we don't have another path to Persia because Afghanistan's it, and we can't attack Afghanistan with their status regarding Great Britain. So maybe we go after Afghanistan, and then, you know, Kokand and Bukhara might become available to us. I just don't like... I wanted to link Persia. Right now, we're only at 5 infamy. We're going to sit on that for a little bit and see what happens. For now, Persia is the only one leaning. We certainly don't want Great Britain getting involved. France has already ruled themselves out of our war. Meanwhile, though, Russia and Spain still stand as potential allies for Kalat, for Persia. So we're looking at holding off a little bit longer on making any additional demands. At the moment, we only have the state of Kalat, and we're already down to just 3.8 infamy regarding that one. We obviously want more territory than this. Spain's out, but Russia is still in play, and Russia is 14,000. Okay, Lagos into consideration. We're still at 100% on that. That's good, but we're out of time. We have to do something regarding war goals at this point. Afghanistan, conquering Afghanistan might be an easier play than Persia, as you're taking that away from Great Britain. Could be an advantage in doing that. Bukhara, Kokand, maybe we join or go after them next. It's just the Persia part. Persia's, well, they run out of backers. Maybe we can get Persia on our own at some point. We'd be looking at just 30 infamy to get both Afghanistan states. And there's a lot more than that in Persia, but maybe making a protectorate out of Persia, that's 31 infamy, but it's 40 maneuvers, which would use almost everything we have. But picking up Persia would be a huge gain for us, and it's definitely a lot easier than going state by state. We're going to do that instead of Afghanistan. Alright, well, the war breaks out. It's on. So a protectorate for Persia ends up being the primary goal, along with a state in Kalat, and that eliminates, you know, any future aggression there. We just have Oman left to deal with. Not doing very well on the Kalat front at the moment. 92 armies there supporting, but with a 91% level here. Election comes through, 50% for the armed forces. Armies definitely took a bit of a beating from the Civil War, so we're not looking terribly strong, but at 99% here with Persia, we're getting ahead of them pretty quick, pretty easy, but we just lost. They committed everything to it, and that's hurt us a little bit. And their units get over much, much faster. Makes me think we should take one of these and say invade. 9 days. Take it back. And just like that, we've got it back. They didn't leave anything behind. More forces they move over to deal with that, which is a lot. The quicker and easier we're going to take Persia. Consideration phase is finally nearly done. Law progressed to ascent. That one army is still holding out here. But their one army is actually still holding out. I guess 2 armies are still holding out here. We still have yet to claim additional states, even though we have a 90% advantage. As we've lost this front, they resume putting forces on the front. We're at 0 for now. Afghanistan capitulates, though. That's going to make this a lot easier. There are 2 armies now held in reserve, but they're looking pretty dang weak. So we're going to go ahead and re-invade, and we're starting to make some progress here. For one, this state's going to get held in just a moment. There you go. No resistance. One big front, gaining rapidly. Persia capitulates. Trying to get all the closest forces. There's very little resistance now. We're talking about 21, 25. Yeah, we're not going to get pushed back to the sea this time. And now that Persia exists as our subject, as a protectorate. Oh, and they just had a revolt begin. So we're not going to end up getting the whole state. But that, I suppose that could be a future path to getting Afghanistan. You take that state later. Presidential Republic has gone through. We've done it. We have a presidential republic. Authority, legitimacy based on votes, legitimacy from including the head of state in government, and a government ideology penalty is plus 20%. Okay, we have a front once again. Our forces ran far, far away. They're at 38 days. And meanwhile, I have a -7. Really? So we're ticking down. Whoa, hello, Turkey. We've gone orange. Gobble, gobble. It's the color. It's not the name. As we now own the state. Or occupy the state. Yeah, -53. Woo, that happened fast. There it is. Alright, folks. Well, we have a new look. Economy going strong, but of course we are not constructing anything short term, as I've been trying to make sure we stay on top of that. But Persia can't do anything for a while. they still have a defensive pact with Russia, so we're going to have to be very careful about how we handle turning that up a notch. We'll have to wait for them to want to accept it. But once they accept it, look at all that orange on the map. First hint, there's very few orange nations. There's one. Nearby. There's two. Different shade. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.